What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zamboni. I am an herbalist and astrologer here in New York City, and it is time for us to talk about the astrology of the week ahead. Please do make sure to follow me here on Instagram. I write daily about what's going on in the heavens, and so you'll be able to get a little bit more in-depth about each day here on Instagram. And then on my Patreon, I'm doing an Astro Basics course for people who are interested in learning the first little bit about astrology and learning how to understand some of these forecasts that you might find on YouTube, or understanding what's going on in your horoscope better and stuff like that. So check me out in both of those places. So let us talk about the week that is coming up here. So this is the very end of Cancer. We're going to get to, this is our last week of Cancer, basically. And this is a pretty momentous time here. So for a few weeks now, I've been talking about, okay, like take a minute, take a rest, rethink, reevaluate, figure out what you want, figure out what sort of things matter to you, like all this kind of stuff, right? Venus was retrograde in Gemini for a good long time. That was a 6-week situation, not to mention the shadow period before. We're currently in the shadow period after, right? There's a long situation going on here. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury has been retrograde. And Mercury is just stationing direct now. I think that happened yesterday. So we're really like slow and like turning around, getting ready to move forward, right? And so Venus and Mercury are both forward now, and we've kind of had our period of reflection. It's time to push forward again. Now this is. So last week I was talking about Mercury retrograde and the Mercury station, and how Mercury is going to be square to Mars for about the whole month of July. For the rest of the month, we're going to keep having Mars and Mercury in a square aspect to one another. And so this is still going to be a little bit agitating. This is still going to feel like tough words, fighting words, like being more direct than you're accustomed to being, either receiving that kind of information or putting out that kind of transmission. You know, really just kind of like there's a directness, there's an assertiveness to Mars. You know, it might feel like rage, it might feel like chopping things off, it might feel short, you know, all that sort of stuff. We're going to continue to see that this week. And then the other thing that's going to be going on here this week, that's kind of, it's a pretty big deal, is the Sun in Cancer is going to oppose our friends in Capricorn. So we've got Jupiter first, then Pluto, and then Saturn in Capricorn. And so, so like right in a row there, the Sun is just going to be opposing all the stuff in Capricorn. And so this is going to be, it really feels like so a lot of times, it begins our momentous push in Cancer Capricorn again. We're still doing Cancer Capricorn stuff. We're trying to get done with that stuff, but it's just not time yet. Cancer and Capricorn are also square to Mars and Aries, and so Capricorn and Aries and the cardinal signs are really going to get a lot in the second half of the year. This is kind of like kickstarting that, jumpstarting that. We've had our period of reflection, and now we're turning into, all right, here we go, Capricorn, one more push, right? And so the Sun is going to shine a spotlight onto the situation that's going on in Capricorn. We're really going to be thinking about what kind of stuff we've been releasing, what kind of stuff we've been getting rid of for the past, this is old news at this point. We've been doing this for 2 years, 2.5 years. Saturn moved into Capricorn in December of 2017. So this is like old stuff that we've been working through for a long period of time. I don't anticipate surprises during this time. I anticipate like looking at the thing again and being like, okay, this is really not working. We really got to change this. We really got to do the thing. We got to change some stuff here. The Sun is going to shine that spotlight in the way that the Sun does. The Sun is the begetter of visibility. It is the brightest object in the whole world. There's no escaping the light of the Sun, right? And so we're really going to start to we're going to bring to light some of this Capricorn situation. So let's think about the Capricorn situation. We've got Jupiter there, we've got Pluto there, and we've got Saturn there. So typically when I think about Sun opposite Jupiter, I think I think of something that's like boisterous. There's something exciting here. There's something like, Jupiter is very like big and here I am. And the sun is like, yes, hello, it is time. I've arrived. I'm the center of things. I matter. We can start the party now, right? And so both of these things together, this feels like excitement and courage and that sort of stuff most times, right? But this is not just regular old Jupiter. This is Jupiter in Capricorn, where Jupiter tends to be a little more solemn than straight ahead archetypal Jupiter. And then this is Jupiter conjunct Pluto as well. And so Jupiter-Pluto has very much been about important and strong and like enormous power moves. But a lot of the way that Pluto wants to operate is like there's something hidden here. There's something secret here. And so, like large sums of money changing hands behind closed doors, or, like this is kind of the thing I've mentioned before, Jupiter-Pluto as hidden opportunities, like there's some kind of Jupiterian growth, expansion, meaning, life-giving, joy, abundant, whatever. There's some kind of opportunity to get that sort of stuff that might be in some muck somewhere, that might be hidden, that might, you might have to get your hands dirty in order to get that thing, right? And so then the sun comes and shines a super bright spotlight on this. And I don't know that Jupiter is going to really appreciate that. Jupiter is busy getting his hands dirty. And I don't know that, that he's going to like that kind of attention this time around. Jupiter tends to be lively and boisterous, raucous even. It can be loud. Jupiter is in the middle of trying to have a quiet footstep. And so I wonder if that might rankle some people who are either solar or Jupiterian figures. These are people who are like in positions of power, who are religious leaders, who are political leaders, who are, mystics, or, like these sorts of folks, stars, celebrities, that sort of thing. So I wonder if there might be a little bit of a tension that might not feel as good as the sun typically likes, or as Jupiter even typically likes. So that's going to happen. And then the sun is going to oppose Pluto. And so that's still involved in this whole situation. Sun opposite Pluto tends to be much less fun than sun opposite Jupiter. Pluto is just a little bit more on the dank, disgusting, composty side of things, which is super helpful when that's what you need, when it's time to transform something, when it's time to take your composty stuff and you want to turn it into rich soil. Pluto is the one that will sort of take you from here to there. Pluto is a little bit mycelial in its function that way. It's very good for the decomposition and that sort of stuff. But the sun, that's not the sun's vibe. The sun is out here trying to be vital and like fun and fresh and that sort of stuff. And so sun opposite Pluto, there's a little like, going on here. Then the sun is going to move on for another couple of days and then oppose Saturn. So that doesn't technically happen until Monday next week. You're probably just going to have to hear me talk about it twice then, because this is a big deal. So what's going to happen is the moon is going to catch up to the sun. So we're going to have a new moon at the very end of Cancer, and that is going to be opposite to Saturn in Capricorn. So this is going to be our first new moon in Cancer that hasn't been eclipsed in almost 2 years, year and a half. It's been a long time, and many of us are very excited to stop having eclipses in Cancer and Capricorn. This is very exciting for those of us who have cardinal angles and stuff like that, except this first one, it's opposite to Saturn in Capricorn. So this is a new moon, which speaks to the month that's going to be coming ahead here, and the opposition to Saturn in Capricorn is very finger waggy. Saturn in Capricorn, didn't think that we did a good enough job last time, and so now is retrograde, had moved into Aquarius and was like, they messed up again, and had to come back. And so Saturn is not in the mood right now. So this is the middle of Saturn's retrograde. Anytime there's an opposition like this to an exterior planet, which is Mars, and further out, then the opposition is going to be the middle of the retrograde. This is when Saturn is most retrograde and kind of most grumpy. And so we're really looking at the grumpiest goat and seeing that kind of thing, and that as being our seed for the month that's ahead. And so So we're really looking at pushing here. We're really looking at some oppositional energy. We're looking at some tension. Don't be surprised if things start to get a little bit wilder, if things start to pick up the pace a little bit. I know 2020 has been feeling like it's been going at 100 the whole time. We did have a little bit of a moment there where it was like, okay, maybe we can sort of think some things through and reevaluate. That time is up. It's time to push now. It's time to move forward. It's time to make our visions of a future come true. If the world is not the world that we thought that we were going to get at this time last year, then what are we going to make it into instead? So thanks so much, everybody, for hanging out with me for this little bit of time. Make sure and follow me so you can get all of the daily updates. Make sure and check me out on Patreon. Thank you so much to everybody who sends me a tip and sends me some coffee or subscribes to the Patreon or anything like that. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. And I look forward. I will see y'all next week. Bye.